the late 80s and early 90s, project management methodologies were largely dominated by the logic of prediction, control, and structured planning. One of the most influential contributions to this paradigm was the Stage-Gate model, introduced by Robert Cooper. His seminal paper, Stage-Gate Systems, a new tool for managing new products on business horizons, proposed a structured, sequential process with defined stages of development punctuated by decision points or gates. This paper became a cornerstone of what is now considered traditional project management. At the heart of Cooper's model was the idea of front-loading knowledge to reduce uncertainty early on. The ambition was to enable managerial decision-making based on clear business cases, accurate forecasts, and meticulously crafted plans. The model worked well in relatively stable environments, particularly in industries like manufacturing or pharmaceuticals, where upfront investments were high and downstream changes costly. While Stage-Gate was gaining traction in industrial setting, a different revolution was quietly taking place. In the early 90s, a handful of software developers in the United States began to challenge the rigidity of traditional approaches. Among them, Jeff Sutherland and Ken Schwaber, who created the first formal Scrum process in 1993. These early agile thinkers believed that innovation, especially in software, required flexibility, iteration, and above all, collaboration. Unlike traditional methods that sought to anticipate and constrain, agile approaches embrace uncertainty and change. Sutherland and Schwaber's Scrum was an operational framework built to support these values, with key practices such as time-boxed sprints, daily stand-ups, and visual work boards that encourage transparency and team ownership. In 2001, 17 of these software pioneers, including Sutherland and Schwaber, gathered at a ski resort in Snowbird, Utah. They signed what would come to be known as the Agile Manifesto. The document did not present a new methodology, but outlined a shared value system: individuals and interactions over processes and tools, working software over comprehensive documentation, customer collaboration over contract negotiation, responding to change over following a plan. While this manifesto was a landmark moment, it was, in many ways, heretical to traditional project management orthodoxy. For organizations grounded in Project Management Institute (PMI) or the International Project Management Association (IPMA) style certification and stage-based governance, Agile felt too loose, too informal, and too risky. Useful perhaps for small software teams, but hardly a match for large-scale innovation efforts. In the decade following the Agile Manifesto, Agile approaches remained largely confined to the software industry. Associations as PMI and IPMA viewed these methods as niche tools, applicable primarily to fast-moving tech projects. In their eyes, Agile methods lacked the rigor, governance, and risk mitigation that project professionals depend upon, especially in sectors like construction, healthcare, or public infrastructure. Even as frameworks like Scrum and Kanban gained popularity, the prevailing wisdom remained that project management was about predictability, control, and accountability. Agile was still the outsider. Then came the smartphone revolution. The spread of digital platforms in late 2000s and early 10s dramatically changed the speed and nature of innovation, and the software relevance in the vast majority of projects. Iteration and adaptability became strategic imperatives, not just for software, but across sectors. Whether developing a medical device, launching a new financial service, or revamping a customer experience, the need to combine structure and flexibility became impossible to ignore. By 2014, even Robert Cooper, father of Stage-Gate, was asking hard questions. In his article, What's Next? After Stage-Gate, published in Research Technology Management, Cooper wrote, "Today's world is faster paced, more competitive and global, and less predictable. Stage-Gate has attracted a number of criticism. It's too linear, too rigid to plan. It's not adaptive enough. It does not encourage experimentation. One size should not fit all." With incredible foresightness, his response was not to discard Stage-Gate, but to evolve it. He proposed a new model, the Triple A system, standing for adaptive, agile, and accelerated. This model explicitly borrowed from Agile principles, iterative cycles, customer testing, and even Scrum-based sprints within traditional stages. Drawing from years of benchmarking and field research, Cooper began to articulate a hybrid vision. He observed that leading firms were no longer debating Agile versus Stage-Gate. Instead, they were integrating the two. He described one such company that used Agile Scrum boards and board-down charts to manage sprint work inside the development stage of a Stage-Gate process. The next generation idea to launch system is adaptive. It incorporates spiral or iterative development. It is also agile, using sprints and scrums. And it is accelerated, designed for speed, efficiency, and risk-based decision-making. Cooper's model showed that agile tools, such as Scrum boards for visualizing tasks and board-down charts for monitoring team progress, were not incompatible with traditional governance. They simply operated at a different level. Tactical execution rather than strategic oversight. Today, few industries tend to use a pure model, whether traditional or agile. Most operate along a continuum, mixing and matching based on the specific context of the project, the skills of the team, and the nature of the work. This is the essence of hybrid project management. For instance, a product development project might follow traditional gates, ideation, concept, business case, validation, but run agile sprints within each phase. A Scrum board helps the team track tasks day to day. A board-down chart provides visual feedback on remaining effort. And at each gate, these tools help inform decisions about whether to pivot, persevere, or stop. Even contractual elements are being reimagined. Instead of rigid scopes and fixed deliverables, some contracts now include provisions for iterative delivery, time-box experiments, or MVP-based milestones, bringing agile logic into legal frameworks. In a decisive shift, the PMI has now incorporated both traditional and agile approaches into its Project Management Professional (PMP) certification. This reflects a new reality. Hybrid is no longer an exception, it is a rule. The acknowledgement that project contexts vary and that methodology must follow context is one of the most significant evolutions in project management over the last 2 decades. We have entered a new era, where Scrum boards help teams self-organize, board-down charts make progress visible, and even contractual structures become agile. But these tools are not a rejection of traditional project management. They are an extension of it. As Cooper foresaw in 2014, the future of project management is not about choosing sides, but about building bridges.